Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai by Shem Kakodash. Shalom to the 144,000 rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video Three Unclean Spirits Like Frogs. This is pretty much landbacking off of the video that I did yesterday entitled The Three City States. And that was, I was watching another video that the head of a Las Vegas camp, GMS Las Vegas camp, Karatazar had put together. So I was listening to it. And if you listen to my video I did yesterday, a lot of the video had him speaking, and I would pause and kind of comment off of it. And that's what I do a lot. You know, if you don't have a topic, sometimes you watch a video of one of the elders or whoever do a video, and you might play it and just stop, you know, add some information to it and build upon it, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, what I'm going to do is this. This is from Revelation 16, verse 13. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. If you're in the know, you already know this, you would know that what we teach, of course, is that the dragon is, the word dragon is interchangeable with this system. It spake as a dragon. Also in Revelation 12, it speaks about the dragon and the tail casting down the third part of heaven, which represents the Israelites, the three parts, 3 stars, I believe it is. I'm not going to go to it right quick. I'm just paraphrasing. Then again, I might just go to it. I might just even do like a breakdown. I may even do a complete breakdown on this Revelation 16. But the stars, the 3 stars, represent Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, because you had the they tell you the 10 tribes. You know, originally it was 13 tribes, which include Dan. When the tribes, the northern kingdom was taken down by the Assyrians, Dan had to be a part of it. So there's, you know, Dan, that's a whole another subject. You know, what happened to Dan? If we don't speak on Dan, why isn't Dan, the tribe of Dan, on the 12 tribe sign? Well, it says the 12 tribes. It doesn't say 13, but originally there was 13. But we won't put Dan there, because when you go to Revelation chapter 7, the Yahweh Shai, our Lord, the Messiah, he didn't mention Dan. And then he mentioned Joseph instead of Ephraim, which Joseph is interchangeable with the tribe of Ephraim. So if you go to Revelation chapter 7, it says Joseph, you know that it's talking about Ephraim. But there's no mention of Dan. So, you know, we see through a dark glass, merely paraphrasing what the Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And these are spiritual things that the Most High has to give you the eyesight to see this. And by the way, since I mentioned the 10 tribes or the Northern Kingdom, there's a video I was just watching, and I was going to do pretty much a land back off of the video put up by Apostle Ryan Blob, which I was getting into it, but the Spirit led me into something else, because I wanted to I wanted to come back and do a video. I didn't mention in the video I did yesterday the 3 city states. I spoke a little about it, but I had a document that proves that there are 3 city states, and there's a video on Amazon, and it's free. Well, it's a audio, and I'm gonna show it to you in a minute. So we know exactly what this means. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon. Like I said, that's interchangeable. The dragon would now represent coming out of London, England. This is represents the city-state that's in London, England. The banking, see this monetary banking systems and money that comes out of London, city-state of London. Military comes, excuse me. The military, or the beast, comes out of D.C., and the false prophet comes out of the Roman Catholic Church. And I'm going to show you that the beast, or the U.S., work hand in hand with the false prophet. So let me just do this here. So we're in this time. We're in the fulfillment. We're living in the fulfillment of Revelation 16. Now here in Revelation 16 and 2, it speaks about the MOTB, and if you get it, you're going to suffer cancer. It says, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men, women, children, which had the MOTB, and upon them which worship his image. Image is not Caesar Borgia. It's the system that you're a part of. You're in the military. They say, okay, now you got to get the charagma. If you stay in the military to get the charagma, in order for you to stay in the military, you worship the image. That doesn't mean you bow down to a statue of a dragon or a picture of Caesar Borgia. It means you're part of the system. And you know you got to take an oath to be in the military. Doctors have to take an oath as well. So the ones of you that took it or will take it, you're going to suffer a cancer. When you look up sore, it's a cancer. I don't want to read this whole chapter. So the only thing stopping the destruction and the deliverance is the microchip, the MOTB. That's why we always putting, now, even if we don't go into that subject, we will mention it. Euphrates, the Levant, is a hot spot. So anyway, as it says in the headline, Armageddon, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. I'm going to show you that the false prophet is Vatican City, and that they all work together. London, as far as I know, never said anything about the Vatican City. When the Pope comes to Americas. I remember years ago he came to Harlem, and I remember about 2 weeks before that they cleaned up Harlem. They cleaned that place up for this Pope. So that means they're honoring this guy, which is Pope Francis right now. Now it says, for they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, technology, which go forth unto the kings of the earth, to the whole earth. And that's what the MOTB is all about. And what's going to seal the deal is the MOTB. So I hope they hurry up in next week, start giving out the micro C-hip, because then the countdown begins, and it's going to be it could be a matter of a month before we get out of here, or a couple of months. I don't see the Caragma system being here for 3, 4, 5 years. But whatever the case may be, we're going to be taken care of. We're going to eat. The servants of the Most High will eat. Isaiah 65. It says, in the whole world, which if you click on it should say oikomeni, to gather them to the battle of the great day of the Most High Almighty. Now that's, if you go to Revelation 20, speaks about Gog, Magog. If you go to Ezekiel 38, which I always go to, in 39, it speaks about Gog, Magog. That's what this is talking about. It's not talking about we're going to be in the kingdom for 1,000 years and then God is going to come out and attack us. Going to hold the Most High for ransom. And Yahushua, we got your Lord Yahushua and Yahweh, and you got to bow down to us, the Edomites. We done made a comeback as God. See, that. If you notice, Bishop Nathaniel, you haven't gone in. He went into that. We cut that thing up, and he haven't gone back into it. I don't. Maybe he rethought about it and realized he was going off, or he may just go ahead and do it again. That guy's a toad, man. He's stubborn as hell. Although last night we were listening to him, he was on point. He was on point for about 98% of the video, the live. He was on point. The only thing he was off on, he was going into the Gentiles. Which scriptures did he go to? And he said that the Gentiles are talking about Israelites, but it's talking about the northern kingdom. He ain't talking about the northern kingdom. The northern kingdom was all the way in America. There's no record of any of the members of the northern kingdom coming back to Israel. Now, you did have some of the northern kingdom that stayed with Judah. Those people that were called Gentiles coming back into the fold, their parents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents go back. Well, I'm going too far. Parents, grandparents. 3 generations. They were involved with the situation with the Maccabees and the Antiochus Epiphanes, where they were forcing them not to be Jews. Don't call yourself Jews. Don't dress like a Jew. Eat pork. Don't circumcise your kids. Speak Greek. That's what the Septuagint was all about. Septuagint wasn't written in Greek for the white man or the Edomites. It was written for the Jakes that lost their Hebrew language and was speaking Greek, like we read from the English Bible. So Cornelius had to be, either his parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, they were involved in that. And so they said, okay, no, we want to die, so we're going to call ourselves Greeks. We're going to be Hellenized. And see, if you were to jump in on a time machine, go back during the time of Cornelius and Peter meeting each other, you would see two so-called black guys talking. So Cornelius looked like us, but he hadn't had the long garments with the fringes and so forth. You know, he was dressed the way the heathens dressed. So anyway, let me come back over here to 14th verse. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of the Most High Almighty. The weapons are already formed. They don't need to make no more. The hypersonic missiles, the ICBM missile system. So the weapons are already here. I keep saying, and I told the men at the close of the camp, the Spirit kind of jumped on me. That's what, the Spirit was on you, Tahar. I was going into different things. And basically I said, if you can't see that this is the time, then you're not one of the elect. The scriptures say, redeeming the time, measuring out the time, knowing what time you're living in. As far as the prophetic parts of the scriptures are concerned, we are living in this time. We are living in the time of the fulfillment of the book of Revelation. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watches and keepeth his garments. Meaning, watches. We're on the watchtower. The prophets are also watchmen. And keepeth his garment, meaning this whole truth. And part of this, the garment is the MOTB, is the micro C hip. Lest he walk naked and they see his shame. So the ones of you that I promise you, the ones of you that teaching that the MOTB is sleeping with white women, or Apostle Paul had the mark and Solomon had the mark, and it's an embargo, and it's sin in all of its forms, whether it be religious or political. We're gonna laugh at you. They said, because we're gonna see that you're naked. Part of you is naked. And we see, and they see his shame. Like I said, that's going to be a game changer. When they make that chip mandatory, that's going to be a game changer, and that's going to shake up a lot of you Israelites as to what you're going to do. And a lot of you are going to take it. Some of you are not going to take it. Some of you that don't want to take it will be locked up, put to death. It said, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. Armageddon simply means Hamagadwan, which means mountain of troops. It's going to be there in the Middle East. It's in Joel 2:19, I think it is. But they're hinder part before the Great Sea, and they're going to be looking toward the uttermost sea, which is the Euphrates. They're going to be in the land of Havilah, with Saudi Arabia's. They're going to be facing Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. And behind them is going to be Egypt, the Red Sea, and Nile. Scholars tell you it's Jordan. No, it's not Jordan. Between the Mediterranean and the, I believe, the Dead Sea. That's what they'll tell you. It's not taught. It's further down. And these, as we know, and there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven. That's the missiles, or the warheads. Every stone about the weight of a talent. A talent is about 100 pounds, and a warhead is about 100 pounds. And men blaspheme. The men that's not dead, they're gonna say, "You, there was God, you did it, God, you did it." Like this guy, Charlton Heston. in the Planet of the Planet of the Apes. He said, "You did it. You did it. You goddamn apes." So they're gonna be cursing out the Most High, and we're gonna come along and we're gonna beat the shit out of him, put him to death, and shackle him up and give him work assignments. Of the plague of the hell, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. Yeah, because it's going to utterly destroy Babylon the Great. So now, let me do this. I'm not going to go long with this thing. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs coming out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. And I'm going to show you what they are. So I looked up the Holy See. Rome is also called the Holy See. And the U.S. and London recognizes the Holy See as a respected world religion. U.S. Department of State, U.S. relationship, I'm not going to read this. If I remember, I'll leave the link in the description box. It said these are the excerpts from the U.S. relations, from the U.S. relations with the Holy See. Holy See is Vatican City. That's the capital. Like D.C. is the capital of the city, the city-state, which is in the U.S. It says U.S. Holy See relations. The Holy See is the universal government of the Catholic Church and operates from Vatican City State. So when you look up Vatican City, when you look up city state, it's a sovereign state, but it's usually small, like a city. Now, Babylon the Great is also known as a city, which is a city-state, but it represents the whole United States, but the capital is in D.C., District of Columbia. It says a sovereign, independent territory. It's like a nation. That nation is only two square miles. You can run around it in about an hour. The Pope is the ruler of both Vatican City State and the Holy See. The Holy See as the supreme body of government of the Catholic Church. And this is the mother church over all the other Christian churches, and they're all set up. They're all mixed with Masons. Certain of these churches, they'll have the crown and the cross, and the crown. That goes back to that's a Masonic symbol, or the degree of Masonry. I don't know if that's 32. I haven't gone through it. I mean, I can look it up. So it says the supreme body of the government of the Catholic Church is a sovereign juridical entity under international law. Now, when they have relations, when the U.S. does a deal with, let's say, Germany to receive goods. You know, China, most of the stuff that you get when you go to BJ's or whatever, or Costco's, or, you know, Targets, most of them, I would say all of them, come from China. So they have to do, you know, you have to do a sit down with China, and they got to discuss how many you can deliver, whether there's a tariff. A tariff is nothing but a tax. So the Chinese agree to it or don't agree to it or meet somewhere in the middle. And the reason why you're able to go and buy stuff is because of China. China being the main place. Mexico, there's other places too. But most of the stuff that you get is from China. Sometimes you got stuff says made in China, assembled in Mexico. Even if you go to a dealership for a car part, them parts are made in China. Now they make a cheap version, then they make a dealer version, which is a better version. So all the Chinese make cheap shit. No, they don't. They'll make a cheap version of something, then they'll make a superior version of something. If you was to do mechanic work, you go to the dealer, look at where it's made. It's made in China. Sometimes it's assembled in Mexico. So the U.S. has to do a deal. Ford has to go to the U.S. U.S. has to do a deal. If there's a war between the U.S. and China, all deals are off. That's why they're going to, wail at the fact that Babylon is destroyed. Because what made China rich? What made China great? The trade. They became rich. It says the United States and the Holy See, which is the Vatican City, consult and cooperate on international issues of mutual interest. That's why you have allies, including in World War II, Russia was an ally to the U.S. That doesn't make Russia a part of the seven heads. That's another thing that these Israelites go off. They say the seven heads, one of them is Russia. Nope, it's never been Russia. Yeah, but they were allies in World War II. They were allies, but then right after World War II, they set up the what do you call it? NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which that was set up. If you go to Google, it's not going to give you the reason why. It may. You go to the old dictionary, it says NATO was set up to bring together all these European nations as allies, and just in case Russia attacks any of these nations, if they attack Germany, that means they attack France, America, Sweden, all these different nations that are NATO nations. And that's your feet of it in Daniel chapter, chapter 2. So anything that they do, they deal with it's based upon international law. It says Holy See, consult and cooperate on international issues. It says the supreme body of the government of the Catholic Church is a sovereign juridical, meaning they make judgment, entity under international law. The U.S. is under international law. You just can't bomb another country. That's why you have a UN. So you have to make a legal declaration of war. It says consult and cooperate on international issues of mutual interest, including human rights, peace and conflict prevention. These different states, these countries are supposed to. That's why they have a UN. If there's the UN was put together, so there's no more. It was first. The UN first came on the scene as the League of Nations. The countries didn't accept it. So after World War II, They changed the name up. It's the same League of Nations, but they just call it the UN. And after World War II, during World War II, they opened the doors to the UN, and I believe it's 198 countries that are members of the UN. I believe there's 2 that aren't. I believe it's either Iraq. I'm not sure. I can look it up, but there's really like 200 nations on this planet, around thereabouts. So they're all insiders. Oh, we got to go back to Africa. Well, guess what? When you go to Africa to escape the Karagma, guess what? You're gonna have to get the Karagma in Africa. It's gonna be an eye opener when they make this thing mandatory, and you're gonna say, "Oh shit, GMS was right." So, are they getting together for peace and conflict prevention? No. Now the Pope might condemn it. We condemn this war. It shouldn't be no war, but they ain't gonna do nothing. The U.S. refuses. They're kind of pulling back from, sending weapons to Israel because they don't want to wind up in the Third World War. And see, Netanyahu doesn't see it, or either he sees it and he don't give a shit, or he just doesn't see it. So the U.S. they say, nah, we can't do that because this is gonna turn into a Third World War, and that's the end of us. Eradication and development. Like the whole world knows that this is a genocide going on. Look up the word genocide. But they're not to say it. They can't use the word. They can criticize Israel or whatever, but they cannot use that word. Well, the Arab nations use it, and certain other nations. Russia knows that it's a genocide. But Russia doesn't really have a relations with the Palestinians. They do have a relation with Iran. That's why when the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, attacked the Iranian interests, they retaliated and they didn't come back. Because they know, they said, wait a minute, if we actually officially go to war with them, Russia's going to be involved, China's going to be involved, all the allies of Russia will be involved in that, and goes back to what? The Third World War. You have a doomsday clock. And I believe it's, I'm not going to go to it, somebody can put it in the chat. I believe it's something like 9 minutes or 6 minutes to midnight. Midnight represents the destruction, a nuclear destruction. It says environmental protection, conflict eradication and development, environmental protection. Like you got in this country, you got a bunch of homeless, man. You got people that are working, what do they call it? A working homeless, I think they call it. You got people that work in tech jobs, bringing home $1,500 a week, and they got to live in their car. You got certain places where it's $5,000 a month for an apartment, a little apartment at that. And that's why this is going to be a messy election season. Because if you want to be honest, they're going to have to put Trump back in there. Nero, my man Nero. Now, what could happen is they can postpone the elections because of a war, because the U.S. got involved. We don't know what's going to happen. But we know that the masses of people in this country and even around the world, they don't believe their government anymore. Especially you people that now it's coming out about the jump shot that it was really killing people and making people sick. Even this guy, Chris Cuomo, he said it. And he put on that act like he had it and he got it and all that. And they ain't even trusting you motherfucking the media. The mainstream American media. That's why they follow alternative news. They'll follow guys like Alex Jones and different other individuals. A lot of people watching Redacted because they're bringing a lot of truth out. And interreligious understanding. You know what that means? That means the Roman Catholic Church, we should get together with the other religions, Islam, and come. No, you can't come together as one. Because one religion goes against another, the next religion. Remember, the Roman Catholic, they said it's all right to be an alphabet person. And what they want to do is ultimately is make a one world religion. They're going to force you to follow their religion. Since its inauguration, who else gets inaugurated? The president. Who else got inaugurated? The Caesars of Rome. What's the word? When you go into the root word for inauguration, matter of fact, let me go to it. Let me see here. Let me just go to it in a common. I was going to go to the etymology, but that's crap. Let me do this. Gold prices. They're not going to give me what I want. Let me try it this way. Etymology online. Okay, to act as an augur, predict, right, predict. That's what I wanted. So somebody is inaugurated, he becomes a prophet on the left-hand side. Augur. Ancient Romans, that's where you get the word, that's the root of the word inauguration. The President of the United States, he's going to be officially inaugurated. Ancient Romans, another proof that this is Rome all over again. The presidents were the Caesars. Trump is Nero. Ancient Romans, functionary whose duty was to observe and interpret auspicious or reputed natural signs concerning future events. That's a prophet. So they're saying your president is a prophet. He can see the future. 1540s, from the Latin augur, a religious official in ancient Rome. More proof that this is Rome all over again. Perhaps divine, originally meaning an increase in crops enacted in ritual, in which case it probably is from the old Latin august, which means increase. That's why when somebody becomes a president, they'll promise you, well, we're going to do this, we're going to bring change to America, we're going to make everything good, we're going to do that, we'll pass this law, and people vote for them based upon their policies that they're going to bring when they get in office. And then what do? They act like they, what you talking about? Because they kiss the ass of other leaders around the world, and like Congress with the what do you call that? What's that term? Lobbyists. They don't care for the the family, the mother and the father works. They're not going to change. Your life doesn't change, whether it be Republican or Democrat. It says increase in is related to increase the more popular theory is that it is from Latin, right? Avis, right? Avian, like avian means bird flu. Avis is bird, because the flight, singing, and feeding of the birds were important objects of divination. Because what they used to do, the Romans, they used to look up in the sky and see birds fly around in a certain pattern. They would say, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. That's witchcraft. Compare auspex. In the case, the second, I can hardly see this, element would be from gerai, to talk. So it says somebody that's an organ, he's in a position to see the future. That's why he said, we're going to do this for you. The economy's going to come down. We're going to bring you more jobs. I promise you no taxes. And then they'll tax the shit out you. That's why it's important to go into these words. So let me come back over here. Inauguration. Pope Francis has acted as a global advocate for human dignity and just. When did he do that? Placing the particular emphasis on the moral. If you were moral, you wouldn't say, you can be an ABC person. Imperative of caring for the poor and marginalized. We're poor, man. There's, how many, like I said, you got people that work at, Amazon and respect the work full time and sleep in a goddamn car. They call it the working poor. You're working 2 jobs. Your wife is working, but you're living in a motherfucking van. The United States and the Holy See enjoy a positive relationship that serves to amplify a global message of peace. Ain't no peace in this world. Ain't no peace. Ain't no peaceful. Inside joke. Freedom and justice. The United States and the Holy See work together on shared priorities such as promoting religious freedom, which that's, they say religious freedoms. You can have your own freedom, except if you're an Israelite. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, you're pretty much a hate group, a terrorist group, whatever the hell they want to call you. So this is all bullshit. It says religious freedom and combating human trafficking. No, they're behind that shit, man. They're behind that. What you talking about? So anyway, and I got to listen to this myself. This is Amazon Music. Give me a second here. Okay, it says Keeping It Real with Jay Scott, I believe. Available on most podcast platforms. It says, and I was listening to some of it. It says, so if you put, I guess if you put, I'll leave the link in the description if I can. It said, who owns the USA, DC, the Vatican, and the city of London are independent states. So they go into detail as to the 3 city states, 3 unclean spirits like frogs. Then they give you sites. Okay, this is right here. 3 corporations run the world city of London, Washington, D.C., and Vatican City. So when we said that in the past, you can't say, oh, you guys just making that shit up. No, it's out there. The U.S. recognizes the Vatican City as a city-state. There's 3 major city-states. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. Let me come back over here.